Hello ladies and gentlemen, Martin Pavey here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're all having a fantastic day. I'm turning 43 very, very soon. And around your birthday time, it's natural to be very reflective, but there's something about it being a bit of an energy center when in the last few videos I've actually described that a handful of people from my past have resurfaced that I've reconnected with. And the thing is with me, I have a pretty clear sense of human nature and, where people are in their lives, by basing it only really on the way that they communicate, or why are we reconnecting now, all these things. It sort of makes sense to me, if not to the person in question. I'm also really curious, and the handful of people that I've encountered, sort of old friends and quite new people, is very rarely do people actually make the progress that they want to do, because in order to grow as a person, okay, you do have to make sacrifices. And one of the big sacrifices that you have to make if you're going to be an actual responsible adult, of which there are surprisingly few, you have to sacrifice excuses. You can't complain anymore when you take responsibility, because if you actually listen to when people are complaining, largely it's about other people over whom they have absolutely no control. But the interactions that I've had, particularly with the two people from my past, the distant past, is that they've both basically come back into my life on the pretext that they're really different and they've kind of moved on from where they were. But actually in reality, they basically came back to launch into complaining and whining about sort of new sets of circumstances, but still very much trapped and locked in the same paradigm of a lack of responsibility, of sort of refusing to live in reality. And normally, for the YouTube algorithm, it's recommended that you always say the title of your video early on. But I'm coming to it now that my fundamental choice, by no means necessarily forever or set in concrete, but my current theme is about being a minority of one. And what I mean by that is choosing exactly what kind of energy I have in my life, and to have a completely uninterrupted, free-flowing ability to move through the world, basically cocooning myself, I'll be honest, cocooning myself from any unnecessary negativity. Now, I see a lot of things as challenges, and and good challenges, opportunities for growth. But when I have been friends with these two people that I'm mentioning, one of which I met 10 years ago, the other I originally met 24 years ago, okay? It's a quarter of a century, and still seeing the same, I'm afraid it's going to sound judgmental, but the same childish behavior, just one crisis after another, making poor decisions. And when I say poor decisions that, don't serve them, don't uplift them, don't make their lives more positive. It's just more stress, and he should do this and she shouldn't have said that. And it's like, well, you have to decide. Eventually, you have to decide. Most people choose to be miserable. They absolutely do, out of a sense often of familiarity. But I don't want that. I really don't want that. And also, this is something that I've been reflecting on today. What you notice in loads of people, that the friend that I knew from 24 years ago from university, she's a year older than me, but the friend that, I say friend, it's so difficult, isn't it, to find the right words for people, because you sort of think, well, a friend ideally, should do a handful of things. It should listen, be supportive, be, uplifting, be, be a mutual, reciprocal relationship. But this chap that I met 10 years ago, he's now 65 years old. He's 65 and still just flailing around. And by no means am I one to talk about flailing around. But the truth is, what I see in a lot of these people is game playing, testing, all the time, waiting for me to do stuff without being proactive themselves. And I only want to be around people, frankly, who are really doing stuff, doing meaningful stuff, being creative and spontaneous and full of joy, and people will say, well, the thing is, Martin, you're really boxing yourself in, and don't you think you're being really harsh to other people? But the truth is that whenever I state with such people how it is that I want to live my life, it's very rare to get support. It's very rare to get encouragement or even just acknowledgement of things. And often it's when all of the old-fashioned, criticisms come out. It's, oh God, you're so naive. Oh, you're so childish. Oh, you're so spoiled. And I look at people who are displaying all of those traits and projecting it. Because as I say, this is a very, very difficult thing to grasp. And I've talked about this in the last few videos. When people are seemingly criticizing you, they are talking about themselves. And all that you have to do to understand that is just listen to them. And I have become a very, very good listener, because I don't want to waste any of my time with people who, are just going to be that negative. But listen to people and just observe the way that they're behaving, and you'll see that all of the words that they're shouting near you, not at you, but near you, oh, you're so spoiled, you're so selfish, as they're shouting at you for being honest and perfectly reasonably and legitimately saying how you want to live your life. Well, it's them. Whatever comes out of people's mouths is never about you, it's about them. And it's surprisingly common, And the thing is, sometimes maybe they might have a point, maybe you can learn something, but there is a manner, there is a way of behaving where even if we have differing viewpoints, we can still be respectful, towards one another. And that does seem to be lacking, and I don't know why, because I grew up in a time at the sort of the nascency, at the advent of the internet and social media and things like that. But I don't really see it as an excuse, I'm on social media a lot, but I listen and expect some reciprocity, expect some stage time as well, not just be constantly watching and observing. And this is why I talk about a minority of one, yourself. If you need that time to build yourself up, establish what it is that you want to do, you take that time. You absolutely take that time for yourself. And if people call you selfish, you do not need those people in your life. And get to the point where you've got clarity on what it is that you want to do and attract the right kind of people to you. That honestly is the aim. And whoever I interact with or whatever happens, I will always take some kind of positive lesson to incorporate and integrate into my life. And I think that's why, certain things happen and people come back into your life. It all serves a purpose. It can help you to grow. It really can. And sometimes it can feel irritating when you think, oh God, what a waste of time speaking to this person from my past. I should have just left them there. It's like, well, yeah, but this is the line of life. It flits and it flies, and sometimes it goes in directions that feel maybe a little bit unpleasant at the time, but ultimately serve to make you stronger and wiser. So if you need the time, do take it, because this is kind of my unofficial byline and motto for life, that it is your life. Always remember that. Thank you very much for listening. Martin Pavey here. Please do like and subscribe and share to spread this very important message. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Ciao for now.